what's up? This is Tuy. Welcome to my house in Sadek. This is my very first trip to Vietnam in 1991, the Peace Walk, which we were protesting the trade embargo which America had on Vietnam. These are pictures right here of when I was in the orphanage. You know, I was adopted in 1974. I think I came to America September 29th, 1974. So I was 3, almost 4. So I was a very clingy baby. And the reason being was because during the time in Saigon, there's a lot of bombing and shelling. And they would put me in a crib, right, to go to sleep. And I would climb out of the crib a lot of times and either crawl to their bed or sleep underneath the crib. Growing up in America, you know, honestly, I didn't grow up in the Vietnamese area because I was adopted, me in a predominantly white neighborhood. You know, we had 6 kids. Back then, the show Brady Bunch was on, you know, there's a story of a lovely lady, right? So that we were known as the Buckner Bunch. My mom comes from Iowa, I guess. She went to school out in San Jose, you know, and that's where she met my father. He is the grandson of Thomas Watson. And Thomas Watson was the founder of IBM. Because of my father's wealth, 6 brothers and sisters, you know, 2 from my American mom. I have an Afro-Swedish sister. I have another Vietnamese brother that's older than me, but we're not by blood. Then I have 2 younger sisters from India. So we used to have every weekend, like, meeting of the family. And one of the conversations was naturally about adoption. And the thing is, I'd like to think she gave me up for good reasons. Some of the thoughts were maybe because I'm disabled and she knows that during war she won't be able to take care of me, so she brought me to the orphanage. So I figured I was adopted because of being disabled. Because I was so close and yet so far the first time. We had talked about maybe doing a surgery. But now I'm having this opportunity to go back because I knew by then that I was from Sadek because my birth certificate said mother, father unknown, but it was signed by nuns from Sadek. And the thing is, on there, one of the nuns is Sister Desiree. And she actually signed my birth certificate. Well, she doesn't work at this church anymore in Sadek. She actually works in Canton. So we're like, okay, let's go to Canton. And so we go down. This is a straight up 5-hour journey to get where we're going, right? We go to the church, we find her. Just finding her was just like amazing. And the reason why I say she was amazing was she said all the right things. You know, a lot of kids were separated from the family because of records, because of the war, because of this, that, and any number of things, that the probability of you finding your parents was basically 0. And she said to me, let me be your mother, right? Like, if you need somebody to talk to, if you need to, all my fears about whether I was going to find her or not, it was like reality slapping me in the face and saying, you're not going to find them. But so I went back to Saigon and I felt okay. But at the same time, I wanted to go down to Sadek one last time, like I said before, and basically reconfirm my feelings about never finding my family. And in reconfirming that, then I can sort of close that chapter, go back to America, and become truly American. Less than a week left before I was going to America. And so I was like, okay, this is the opportunity. Let's go down to Sadek. I booked a ride. I wanted to go to the orphanage or the church and give a little money in thanks. So we drive in, right, and we get out. And back then, again, no foreigners are ever seen, let alone a group of disabled Asian Vietnamese guys from America coming. So the people on the street start seeing us, asking questions. They make the introductions, and I'm just sitting there because I can't speak anything. And my friends are explaining what I'm coming down for. We show them the old birth certificate, mother and father unknown. During that time, one of the nuns disappears. She comes down and she has a ledger of people that would have been, or the ledger of that time period. And so I'm just kind of looking, and then all of a sudden, oh, that's me. And the name next to it is Nguyen Quoc Tuy. Then Chi Phieng comes in. Start talking to more, and he figures out that she was the one that took care of me. And I'm like, what?
Chị ở đây cho tới khi chị đi học 7 tuổi. Chị đi về rồi là mẹ đưa em vô nhà cô Nhi. Là các sơ săn sóc em. Lúc giờ các sơ chích thuốc rồi cho uống thuốc. Rồi tới giờ các sơ đi đọc kinh. Thì nhờ chị giữ em, đút cơm cho em, giữ em rồi cho em uống sữa. Mẹ đưa em vô đó là em quá yếu rồi. Hồi xưa hay chích hai cái đùi này, mấy chị đồ đứng lên cũng chích cái đùi cho nó đừng có bị liệt đó. Em các sơ chích mầm sơ nói.
And they turn around to me and say, hey, look, she knows your family. She knows where your mother is. So she's gonna go get him right now. I felt like a ton of bricks, just on all fours, just go. What happens when you find her? My fantasy was kind of weird in that I thought that if I were to find my mother, that, we'd be running through the rice fields at sunset and there's a water buffalo and blah, blah, you're like, wow, tea! Sort of just that really weird, and we'd meet on the bridge or whatever, and then that would be it. I don't know, I felt ashamed. Because if it's true, I'm gonna meet her and I'm not even gonna know her culture. I don't know her language. I don't know anything. And so I'm sitting there, David Dang is sort of standing next to me, and he speaks Vietnamese fine, and he gets the idea of, let's teach Tuy how to say, it's been 20 years and your son has come home. He tried to teach me, and then every time I said it wrong, everybody would laugh and be like, oh, he's funny. All of a sudden there's a commotion. The old lady pops out, she has these little round glasses and all that stuff. No, nobody's told me anything. So I'm like, 20 years, your son has come home, blah, blah, blah. Totally messed that up. And Dave goes, that's not your mom. I'm like, how am I supposed to know? Damn, right? And they're all laughing, and then my mom pops out.
Ủa, con tôi là người nào hồi đó tôi cho nó còn nhỏ xíu mà tôi đâu biết nó là ai đâu. Bây giờ nó về nó tìm tôi không biết nó là ai. Con tôi hồi đó nó khỏe mạnh, nó biết đi, sao giờ nó ngồi giống tó như vậy. Mấy bà đó nói là con bà bị bại liệt. Tôi nhìn con tôi, nếu phải con tôi thì cái đầu nó có lỗ thẹo này tôi mới dám nhìn.
So I'm just like sitting there walking, and she just totally grabbed my hand like, get over here. And I'm okay. And she goes like this. She kind of goes like this, and then puts her finger on it. Right? Popped my head back up and just kind of slapped me on my arm and said something.
Cái này là đúng con tôi rồi. Cái thẹo này là con của tôi đúng rồi. Sợ là không có cái thẹo đó là nhìn lầm con của người ta, tôi không dám nhìn. Nhưng mà cái thẹo đó là đúng con tôi thì đó, tôi mới sinh nó ra là cái đầu nó có lỗ thẹo này. Tôi nói là nó đi lạc 20 năm tôi cũng nhìn ra nữa, bây giờ nó về tìm tôi. Đúng thật là con của tôi. Mẹ cũng mừng. Mẹ nhìn gặp con, mẹ thấy con tóc dài quá. Mọi người nói, cái bà này con mới về tìm bả mà bả không mừng mà bả thấy tóc dài bả nói chí. Mẹ nói là không phải, nếu phải con tôi thì cái đầu nó có cái lỗ thẹo đây.
I have a million things I want to say. I have a million things I want to ask. I want a million things that I want you to know about me. My head didn't stop boiling. I mean, I was like on cloud nine. I was just like la 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 la. You know what I'm saying? It was like, you know, just the whole range of emotions and just sort of, how do I communicate? How do I feel? You know what I'm saying? What do I say? I want to know if I have brothers and sisters. You know, I wanted to know how she survived. I wanted to know about my father. I wanted to know why. Đại lên.
Con ba mới về.
Mẹ đuối rồi. Mẹ đuối. Mẹ đuối. Mẹ đuối. Yes. Let me introduce everyone. This is my mom that I found in 1993. This is my oldest aunt. She has like 13 kids or something like that. This is my oldest sister. She's full biological. So when I found her, it was a complete surprise. I mean, it wasn't the running through the rice fields and meeting on the bridge with the water buffalo and the sun rising and all that stuff and the mountains in the background and everyone happy and on the boat singing songs and all that stuff. And so then I'm like, so where's my father, right? Because I figured he's out in the rice fields, and I get the answer back that, oh yeah, he's Filipino, right? I'm just like, what?
Ông không biết có bầu. Mới có 1 tháng mà ông không biết, mẹ cũng không biết luôn. Ông đi về bển rồi mẹ ở đây mẹ mới có bầu. Rồi thành ra ông đi về luôn, ông nói là ông về bển tại vì ông làm bên đây nó hết hạn rồi. Nên bên đây người ta đuổi. Ông nói là khi nào ông làm giấy tờ xong ông qua là ông mới tìm mẹ. Rồi mẹ về quê, xong mẹ mới về quê mẹ ở mẹ đẻ con luôn đó. Chờ hoài ông không qua, mẹ lên Sài Gòn mẹ kiếm nữa, mẹ dẫn chị hai lên chờ mà không có qua.
Nhưng tại sao là con là mẹ nghĩ là đưa con đi qua nhà thờ?
Tại vì chị hai bệnh, rồi mẹ thì mẹ bị tê liệt luôn, cũng như là không có cảm giác gì nữa, không có biết, không có biết đựng cơm ăn nữa. Đi không được luôn. Mà lúc đó là dì hai với có bầu anh có là 2 tháng nữa dì hai sanh nữa. Thành ra mẹ mới nghĩ là mẹ thấy ở đây nè người ta gửi con cho bà Phước rồi người ta sinh lại. Mẹ mới nói thôi giờ chị ơi đem gửi cho bà Phước nuôi đi, rồi chừng nào em hết bệnh ba nó qua rồi em đi qua em sinh lại.
We talked about he worked for the army, the men that worked with the soldiers to get them things like, if they wanted beer or if they wanted a shirt or whatnot, they were like the hustlers. And she worked at a cafe, and that's where she met my father. Right, so, going there all the time, I think she was like 16, 17. And then he was like, my time is up. He had a choice to go to America, but then he ended up choosing to go back to the Philippines because my father had a family prior coming to Vietnam. She was alone. After she got sick and became mobile again, got the feelings back in her leg, that she did come to the orphanage and visit me. But at that time, they wouldn't allow me to go with her. I found her in 93, so 2023. For those who are looking to find their biological parents, there are a lot of things to consider. It's not a guarantee that you will find them. But if you do, it comes with a lot of things that you will not ever think about. Language, cultural barriers, understanding, and to really put the time that you feel that you need to put to make a solid relationship can be overwhelming. I've sacrificed a lot of my life in America just to fulfill my commitment to my mom. It's not for everybody, but understand that if you do the search, it might have to be that way. Are you willing to do that? But like in life, if you want something that bad, you have to sacrifice for it. And there will be up and downs. There'll be trials and tribulations, happy, sadness, every emotion that you can feel. But if you can look at the end picture, I mean, you can do it.